Hello, welcome. And today I'm going to be talking about anxiety and why it makes a difference in how well you're seeing the ball. In 1970, Rainer Martins did a breakthrough study in the field of competitive anxiety, where he split out for the first time the difference between your mental anxiety and your physical anxiety. So, um, So your mental anxiety, that's how worried you are, how many different things do you have on your mind? Um, how confident are you? So what he discovered is that as your confidence goes up, your performance generally will go up. And as you are more nervous, worried, thinking thoughts about doom and whatnot, then your performance will be inhibited, with very rare exceptions. In fact, very few people are actually going to be harmed by being so called overconfident. Um, there are two groups of people that can suffer from overconfidence. And one group is the supremely confident people already, who are already confident enough. And then when they get too confident, then they tend to slack off. Another group of people who tend to be overconfident are those who've met with newfound success. This is something that I've found in almost every program that I've taken over in my first year of working with a team. They will improve a lot. They'll start to feel really good about themselves. They'll have a really good success that kind of caught them off guard. And then it's really amazing to see how in the very next competition, a pretty healthy percentage of those kids will be overconfident, and then they'll perform poorly. So it's a really interesting process to work through. Now, so that's the mental part. The physical part is that as you get to a midpoint of tension, of anxiety, of nervousness, even, then you're going to perform better because you need to be alert. That anxiety creates alertness. If you're overly anxious, if you're shaking, that's a problem. If you're tense, that's a problem. But then you also don't want to be languid and relaxed and not paying attention. So that's the physical part. So there are a couple of things that make really good interventions. And one is that you can tell yourself to slow down. Another one is that you can do some deep breathing. Another is that you can pre-plan the type of point that you want to play. And then so as you can get your mind to focus on the things that are going to be helpful, then your eyes can actually, that you're going to alleviate some mental anxiety and you can actually see the ball better, because if you're busy up here with all sorts of different thoughts, then you're taking away some of that CPU that goes to your eyes. And the visual part of your system is 60% of what your brain's activity is. So if you start taking up big chunks of CPU, storage, processing space in your brain with other things, then you might only end up with 55% or 50, and then your vision's going to be diminished. So that's an important thing. And then, then also then that physical anxiety. So when you're reaching the top, then you have a certain level of intensity and alertness and um, ability to have a relaxed concentration. But if you start slacking off, then and your heart rate goes down, you get lackadaisical, then your eyes aren't really, having the energy to do what they need to do. So that's a good time to kind of get yourself fired up. Slap yourself on the leg, say, come on, and get yourself back fully engaged. Sometimes you play a match against somebody who's not very good and it can be kind of boring. So find things to be interested in. And maybe practice a new stroke that you can work on. That becomes an interesting thing for you to do. On the other hand, if you're starting to get really wound up, right, then that's where your breathing comes in. That's where your good thinking about what you want to do, and telling yourself to slow down. And in between points, if your heart rate gets going really high, I mean, take that full break, take that full 20 seconds to let your heart rate come down, especially before serving. So it's been shown that the accuracy of serves increases as the heart rate is lower. So if you've played a really tough point and your heart rate is in the 160 to 180 range, you definitely want to give yourself a moment to come down a couple of beats a moment. An intense point at the net can actually take your heart rate up to 180 to close to your maximum heart rate. So 180 and above, sometimes even 200 beats a minute or more. So different people have different maximum heart rates. So don't get on me if yours is 190. Don't tell me I'm trying to kill you. Anyway, so so you have one of those maximum heart rate situations. Let it come down before you execute that next serve. The caveat there is that it seems to be that if your heart rate is still a little bit elevated, that can help you on the return because that's going to give you more alertness. And so if you're finding that you're winning points without much effort and you're barely breaking a sweat when you're playing, and then you're chipping in some easy return errors, then you might want to get your heart rate up. So do a little dance. You probably see some pros out there who do a little dance. They do a little boxing footwork before they settle into serve, because what they're trying to do is get a couple more beats a minute so that they can be more alert and be more ready to spring into action to hit that. And that's a visual thing. That heart rate connection to your alertness, to your ability to pick out the ball and react quickly, all of that is connected. So anyway, in the notes, you're going to see a link to the pre-order of Visual Training for Tennis ebook. I'm working on the cover for the print book. Print book should be ready in a couple of weeks. I'm going to have to get some proofs ordered to be able to look at. If you would like a signed proof copy, let me know. Send me an email at Infinite Vision Coach for Tennis. infinitevisioncoach@gmail.com. infinitevisioncoach@gmail.com. So that's all I have for you today. I'm heading into a chat with Rich Nair coming up, Tennis Boom Radio, every Monday on Clubhouse at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So hope you will tune into that. Get on Clubhouse if you're not there. It's pretty amazing. All right. Thank you for watching. And I saw somebody gave me a like there. Not sure who that is, but thank you for that. All right. Bye-bye.